Hey, it's Heidi from A Lively Hope, and today is the beginning of a new series I'm really excited about. We're going to make art journal backgrounds using stuff we already have on hand. So I have this watercolor set that was damaged in an art class I taught for kids. I also have some broken crayons, and today we're going to make 3 different art journal backgrounds. So over the next several weeks, we'll fill this art journal with various backgrounds using things I already have on hand. And then after the backgrounds are all filled in, my plan is to go back through and create art journal spreads using collage and other types of art journaling techniques. And I'm really excited about it. So I have a black and a blue and a purple broken crayon, and I am just scribbling all over this page. As you probably know, wax crayons create a resist if you put them down on paper and then watercolor over the top of them. So I'm really just using these broken crayons as a way to add some interest, some texture, and some kind of unpredictability to these pages. I like to turn my book all different directions and go off the page. These are ways to add more visual interest, more movement to your spreads. So as you can see, I always tuck in some scrap paper underneath my pages so that I can protect the other pages in the book and just allow myself the freedom to go right off the page. So something that's really hard for me is not wanting to have too much control over my art. And so I try to use these movements to be a little more expressive, a little more free, a little more open than my typical very controlled artwork. So now that page is all full of crayon, I'm going to go through and add some watercolor. And I chose for these 3 pages that we're doing today to focus on cool colors. Almost every color in this watercolor set that I salvaged from my kids' art class has black mixed into it. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. That happens. So it might appear that these are all ruined, but I just wanted to show you how they can still make something beautiful even though they all have black mixed into them. And so anyway, for these 3 pages today, we're focusing on cool colors. I'm using blues and purples and greens and the black that is mixed into every single one. And then next week, I'll have the warm colors also from this palette that I do a few different things with in this art journal. So I'm going to speed this up now and just let you watch as I fill in this page. I'm using quite a lot of water. I want the colors to really blend and to interact with the crayon as well. So I'm moving the water across the page as I go, trying not to create any hard lines in the watercolor. And I'll just fill up this page. I really love how this page turned out with all of the different colors working together. It looks really cool dry, and I actually really like how the black turned out in there. Okay, we're on to page number 2. This is a stencil that I made using an index card. I just cut these oval shapes out with an X-Acto knife, and I'm using the same crayons that I had before to just fill in some kind of haphazard ovals. I will move this all over the page, and we're going for a similar look as last time with just the watercolor and the wax crayon interacting together, making some visual interest for the background of this page. So once I fill in all of these circles, notice that I'm taking them different directions. I'm not lining them up perfectly. I'm just filling the page. And I could, of course, have just done this without the stencil. But for me, it's kind of nice to sometimes have the stencil make the decisions, and then I don't have to decide where the marks should go. Okay, so now that that's done, we'll do the same thing we did in the previous page, just using my semi-ruined watercolor set to fill in some cool colored watercolor across this whole page. I'm sticking to mostly greens on this page, and I really love how they look and how they're interacting together on the page and with the black crayon. And for the final page, we're going to do one of my favorite art, if I can't think of anything to do, activities. And that's just scribble all over the page with the crayon and then go back in and fill in each of the little sections with a different color of watercolor. So they will blend, they will bleed together. As you can see, the green is kind of melting into that purple right now. I love this. That's what I'm after. I want different colors except for that brown, apparently. So I'll stick to the the greens and purples and blues for this one, and then just fill in the entire page. Alright, these have both had a chance to dry now, and I'm going to go back over the top of them to add a little bit more interest and detail. This is a Posca paint pen. I'm using that oval stencil that I made again, just to add another layer. Of course, this isn't necessary. It's kind of meditative and I enjoy it, so more layers. This is a Sharpie paint pen. I think it's oil-based. These are all just things I'm not randomly, but just pulling out of my drawer. I have sitting next to me a set of drawers that's just full of different pens, and I have no idea which one of them works or anything like that. And so part of this project is me going through that to kind of sort through and see what I have and what works and what I need to get rid of. So some of these pens obviously don't work, and I'll be throwing those away. So now I'm going to add some white with a white gel pen. I think this is also a very light green gel pen. a jelly roll. That isn't working. Yep, so see, I'm finding lots to get rid of here. And then just going through and adding some dots and some circles and some ovals and some lines, just basically at random, to kind of fill in some of these spaces. Often this is a jelly roll souffle pen, and often as they dry, they become more opaque and easier to see. So that's kind of what I'm hoping will happen here as I fill it in and you can't even see anything, but then as we come back to this page, you can see the purple that's right under my hand. That's what I did at first with this pen. And as the pen dries, you are able to see it stand out on the page more. Now, if you look back at the right-hand side, you can see as it's dried, the souffle pen is standing out against the paint a little bit more. So, again, these are just some fun marks to make. You could do a whole page of this just testing your pens and see what works. This is a fine tip Sharpie that I'm using now. Again, I just grabbed a bunch of things from my desk drawer, and I'm just making circles and lines and different marks with them all over these pages. I'm really looking forward to this series. I will be having a video up every Saturday, working through this journal, through the backgrounds, and then we'll go through again and fill in with quotes and meaningful phrases and uplifting thoughts and just fill up this art journal with goodness. It would mean so much to me if you would subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. In the meantime, happy creating.